Greetings, family. Welcome back to another episode of Through the Looking Glass. I am your amazing host, Key, the Freak Show Babe and Starseed Oracle. And for today's insightful, intuitive messages, I have for you the understanding of the labels you attach yourself to and how they become rulers of your life on a subconscious or unconscious level. So, we're going to break this down in terms of Disney princesses, because that's the most easiest thing to understand. So when we think about a man or a woman, adult of nature, who refers to themselves as a princess, like princess whatever, I want the princess treatment, is things I've heard people say. And men on that opposite side of the spectrum refer to themselves as princes, prince of the night, prince of hearts, whatever you want to call yourself, or whatever terms you would like to attach to that. When you take a look at the word princess or prince, it has these underlying connotations, or not even underlying, they're right in your face. A prince or a princess is not yet in control or leading of their life or even a kingdom or queendom at that point. They are actually still underneath the wings of a caretaker, whether that be a mother figure, father figure, a husband figure, or a wife figure. So sometimes internally, depending on how young men were raised, let's say a young man was the only boy in a family, he will be treated basically like a prince, and in most cases referred to as a prince. Standing here as a grandmother and talking about this, I have directly identified it there several times where I have referred to my grandson as the little prince because I see my husband in king status. Anyway, when it comes to the understanding of this, once you reach a certain age, and that age being over 18, if you continue to refer to yourself in terms of you're looking for a partner that gives you that prince or princess treatment, you may not know that you're attracting people into your space whose goal and idea is to control you, not because they are a controlling person in nature, but that is the energy that you are projecting forward when you are looking for a partner. So when you level up in your own self and you do self-improvement, personal development, and all of these things, you step out of the princess and prince role by learning that nobody is here to take care of you and that you are responsible for your life. Now, if you're listening to this and you're in some sort of bind or some sort of situation where maybe you're over the age of 18, but you still live with your parents, this is not directed at you as saying as soon as you turn 18, you need to move out. There is a difference in between being a responsible young adult that is receiving help from a parent, grandparent, friend, sister, neighbor, whatever, than a person who has decided that their life and their source of living and everything should be placed on another person. These are what the military terms as dependents. So there's the independent person who is, making the money, doing the thing, leading the ship, leading their life. They are rulers over their own life. They are independent. Even if they're, accepting help from another person, they are still independent. A dependent is someone who is literally living off of, mooching off of, leeching off of another person, whether that be physically, mentally, emotionally. There's all sorts of ways that a person can become dependent on something. Now, let's steer this ship right back to where we were talking about, because if you can understand the overall archetype concepts that I'm speaking on, then you'll actually begin to see in the different areas of your life where you are either in a princess role or prince role, a king or queen role, a dependent role. You'll get to look at the 8 pillars of your life to understand that. And when I say 8 pillars, because one thought leads to another thought. This turns into your physical pillar, your financial pillar, your health pillar, your mental health pillar, your social pillar. All there's a couple more, but right now I really want to keep this a little bit brief, and back on target with the archetypes in question here. So once you identify the archetype that you sit under, like if you're like, yeah, I deserve the princess treatment or whatever, even if you're listening to this should be your trigger right there, that you're going to continue to attract a partner in your life or partners in your life, and even friends and things in your space who want to shower you with gifts and things, but also keep you in that small girl or small boy energy. And sometimes those people of that nature come with different ways of thinking, such as little girls should be seen and not heard. So yes, you're beautiful, but go sit your beautiful A over there in the corner and let me just pour gifts on you. You shouldn't be too smart. You shouldn't be too sexy. You shouldn't be it comes with a lot of, parameters and things of that nature. And if that's the area, once you identify you're in that space and you're okay with that, and you find a partner that is okay with that, that has nothing to do with, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but when we are aware of things, and I make these transmissions for people who are seeking personal growth, seeking development, who want to improve their lives, who want to understand themselves, and who want to make changes so that they reach their highest potential in this lifetime. That's who I make content for. So if, you're okay with that state of being, at least it helps you understand what type of partner you're looking for so you can set the parameters appropriately. As with the next phase, when you take responsibility and ownership of your life and you say, I'm not a child, I'm an adult, I have an inner child. It is my job to nurture my inner child, not anybody else's. Let me take my inner child by the hand. Let's walk together and let me lead. I'm the parent to my inner child. When you become the parent to your inner child, you essentially become the queen or king over yourself, over your own dominion. When you take on that role, you're no longer looking for another person or another entity or thing to take the place in your life to take care of you. You understand that you are in charge of taking care of you, that little inner child. What happens when we take on this responsibility and this accountability over our own lives and we grab our inner child by the hand, we release a lot of stress. There's a lot of trust that comes from your inner child, that inner small version of you, trusting that you, the adult, the outward projection of you, has its best interests, their best interests at heart. So this means that things that were originally blocked before actually begin to open up when you take responsibility for your inner child and you nurture your inner child. And nurturing your inner child looks like having fun, doing things that light up your life in ways that bring you joy and magic and wonder. For some people, that's playing video games. For some people, it's cosplay. For others, it's doing face painting. Some people, it's gardening. Whatever your inner child likes and whatever your inner child wants. Some people, it literally is things like those little race car competitions that they have at Hobbytown. If you got a Hobbytown in your area, then they set up full-fledged tracks And they have like these little race cars that you can mod out and all these things. And yes, I have gone on to a tangent, but the point is, what thing you wanted to do as a child that you didn't do, that maybe your parents didn't have enough money for, or maybe you were just too afraid to try. It could be something like playing softball, join an intramural or a local team in your community. Another way to nurture your inner child is to play. It's all about having a good time, while also using moderation. So being that adult saying, "Hey, it's time to go to bed," type stuff. Once your inner child sees and feels and hears that you've got their back, you've got their best interest, and everything is going to be okay. And you may need to use an affirmation that says, "I got you. I got this. Everything is okay. We are okay." It helps calm the things that block you. What most people don't understand or may not know is that our inner child actually has the ability to block manifestations out of fear from past experiences. So your inner child will carry things like past life memories and old ways of thinking from when you were an actual child in this timeline. The inner child aspect of ourselves carries so much wisdom and so much knowledge and understanding about who we are, and really can help us unlock these energetic blocks of ourselves. But anyway, again, on a tangent, let's steer this ship right back to where we are. Taking accountability, nurturing yourself, and becoming the queen of your life, the king of your life, means that you now have a kingdom or queendom to take care of. You may have a kingdom spouse, you may have or not. You may be, a solo empire runner. That's okay too. You don't need a partner. In a true partnership, in a true king and queendom, the queen has her own area of control and the king has his own area of control, that even if they were to separate, the nation would run just fine. It's not about relying heavily on each other. When two people of equal stature come together as one in a partnership, it removes the codependency of the relationship. Again, kings and queens work together, not one serving the other. And so I actually am going to stop it right at these two, because based off of what I've seen and experienced in working with others and interacting with others in my metaphysical practices, is this hang up in between princess treatment and queen status is where a lot of people get stuck. Once you achieve queen status and king status of your own life, what you tend to notice is the people that are around you, that orbit towards you and in your space, also identify with that same level of control and responsibility of their life. So you move away from, you may lose friends, you may not, old friends, but you don't want to, the queens don't hang around with princesses. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, she might go like have a tea party or something, host a tea party to teach the princesses how to become the queen. But her everyday circle is other queens, babe. So like, same thing with kings. If you find yourself in a group of rambunctious, rowdy people, then baby, you in the wrong space. You need to go find your tribe of kingsmen, fellow kings to interact with and break bread with and talk business with and, do all the things that kings and queens do. Anyway, Spirit is saying stop it right here. So I'm going to end this amazing, wonderful transmission. I hope you gathered something useful out of this. If you did, go ahead and subscribe, something. Let your girl know, make a comment and be like, okay, yeah, cool. That these messages are resonating. If you feel so inclined, head over to my website, freakshowbabe.com, and put your name in the email block so you can get an email from me eventually. Okay, guys, talk to you in the next one. Toodles.